put on Instagram that I was hosting you, so I asked people for questions, and there were a lot of questions, right? I think it's the most number of questions I've gotten.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most number of questions so far. And there are basically 2 or 3 main themes, 2 or 3 main questions. And the number one question is basically non-independence of the Straits Times, which you get all the time, I'm sure, right? So help us understand this, right? How does this work, right? This relationship. So is there actual censorship, or is it self-censorship, or is there none of the above? Like last time when we were growing up, there's this urban myth, right? Which is a myth, but a lot of older people maybe still believe that the Minister of Information will read the newspapers before it's published or so on. But how does it work? Do you get a call, or do ministers come to the newsroom?
Okay. So there are 2 parts to your question, right? Yeah. The first part, is there censorship? No, don't be silly. No, there is no censorship. I don't think people have the time for that anyway, even if they wanted to. So no, there's no censorship. If you want to talk about the other part of the question about the independence, I think that's something that we've lived with for many times, for a long time. People always ask us the question. The newsroom for sure would like to believe that we are as independent as we can be, right? But obviously newsrooms all exist in very specific contexts, right? If there are 150 newsrooms in 150 different communities and societies and countries, we have 150 different types of ways of working, and we are just one of them. And we can have specific discussions on how we work with the government, how we work with different stakeholders. It's not just the government, right? All newsrooms will have different relationships with government, with private sector, with NGOs, and we all have a different kind of relationship with each other, right? And it's a fluid relationship. We listen to them, they listen to us. Sometimes they have feedback for us, sometimes we have feedback for them. But whether or not it translates into what people may think is censorship, I think that's no lie, that there isn't any.
Why is there such a prevailing belief then that there is actual censorship?
No, I think what people will, if they want to have a discussion about what is the government influence on us, I think that's fair enough discussion. But to go into the realms of actual censorship, I think that's putting it a bit too far. We can have discussions about the quality of journalism. Again, that's fair. We can talk about specific stories. Why did we do it this way? Why did we write this headline this way? Why do we approach this story in another way? Those are fair enough, and we are happy to do it. Now, there will be perceptions that we lean one way or the other. Again, I think we can have discussions about that. But again, if we go back to how Singapore evolved, the Straits Times is going to be 180 years old very soon. It's history longer than independent Singapore. But if you look at how Singapore has evolved since 1965, right, as an independent country, the Straits Times together with it, obviously there will evolve a certain relationship between the government and the paper. People used to call us the paper of record. There will be a relationship. You cannot deny it. And this relationship is something that is evolved over all these years too. And I would like to believe some of it comes from, yes, a certain degree of trust from both sides. Again, there's no point denying it. All right. If you look at any statistics out there, there's a high degree of trust in the media. Of course, people will say it's quite low compared to what you would like it to be. But if you look internationally, whether it's a Reuters Institute or whatever it is, there's still quite high trust in mainstream media and the Straits Times in Singapore. If you look at other measures of trust in the government, and society's trust in the government is also quite high, higher than in most places you would, right? So when you look at it as a whole, it actually frames the tone of the relationship between us and the government. Now, people may say that therefore that is translated to, and you can say that some degree of influence, there's censorship, there is whatever. I think that's pushing it too far. But if you want to say that, yes, so how did we come to this relationship? I think that's a good discussion to have. We may not have enough time for it, but I would say that it is very unique to us.
Right. Okay. Thank you. And it's true, the Edelman Trust Barometer Index, Singapore features quite highly. So okay, so you've debunked this myth, right? That ministers will tell you what to write or what to print, right?
But again, as I said, that doesn't mean that they don't have conversations with us.
Of course.
And I think that happens all the time, right?
They should, right?
Yes, exactly.
They should have those conversations, right?